Hello YouTubers, Ben here from Go Tree Quotes. We're going to be talking about the cost of tree removal in Adelaide. I get a lot of questions about what is the average cost of tree removal in Adelaide. So this is a breakdown of the figures that we get at Go Tree Quotes. We got a lot of requests for tree work here. We send it off to the best price local contractors, and this is the data that's come back. Now, the strange thing about the average cost in for tree removal in Adelaide is that the average cost is actually a lot higher, although in general it's cheaper to get a tree removed. Now, the reason for this kind of weird data statistic thing is there's not a lot of rules regarding tree removal in Adelaide, so a lot bigger trees get taken down. So Sydney, for example, or Melbourne, most areas you can't remove a tree greater than 3 meters high without first getting council approval, and it is very difficult to get council approval. Adelaide is the total opposite. It's kind of a free-for-all. There are some heritage listed trees, but you could take a tree down that's 50, 60, 70 foot tall without approval in most cases. So because larger trees are coming down, the average cost is higher. But that doesn't really help you with the cost of your tree removal. So I'm going to go through some local prices for small, medium, and larger size trees. So the first one is small, anything from 2 to 4 meters. Now, I'll give you a big tip in saving money. This price here, $250 to $500, is probably what you'd get from an arborist. It would literally take them about 30 minutes to remove this tree. I would not get an arborist or a tree service to remove a tree that's smaller than 5 meters. Possibly if it's in a difficult spot, but you're going to get a far better price from like a lawn mowing garden maintenance service. To be honest, tree services don't like trees this small. They've got huge expense with big trucks, chippers, cranes. They're paying 9% workers' compensation on wages. They've got public liability insurance, insuring all their equipment, over $200,000 in equipment. It's a lot of money. They don't really have time for these smaller jobs, to be frank. So I wouldn't even bother because it's just going to cost you more money. So if you did, it'd be $250 to $500. You'd probably get the same tree cut down from a lawn mowing service for $100. So it's definitely worth it. Now, a small tree, we're talking about things like this. These are beautiful trees. You probably wouldn't cut these down, but just to give you an idea of the size of tree I'm talking about. This one's probably getting a little bit bigger. It's still a smallish tree. It's probably small, medium-ish. This one probably would be closer to, you got a tree service in maybe 700, 720, just depending on the access. If they can get their truck and chipper nice and close, it'll be quite quick. There's no real obstacles. So the next one is a medium tree. These are the type of trees you will need a tree service for. Yeah, there's kind of no getting around it. That they do need to be insured. If they're going to be on your property, you need to make sure they are covered for public liability. If they do damage something, you got to make sure that you're covered. So it's very important you use them. A medium-sized tree, probably anything up to 2.5 stories high, so 10, 12 meters, something like that. 500 to 1,000. So you can get like really skinny trees with very few branches that'll probably be $500. Maybe the trunk on it's 6-8 inches wide. They can be up to more than $1,000 if they're in a really tight spot. Imagine they're down the side of your house. You got half a meter room. They're overhanging your house. They got to get a crane in or something. So there are cases. These are just average prices. So a tree like this, it wouldn't take a tree service long. It's good access. It's in a school playground here. You can't really see the top of the tree, but maybe you'd pay, actually for this tree, you'd probably pay closer to $1,200–1,300. It's a pretty quick job though. It wouldn't take them more than a couple of hours. So we do have I've got a link in the footer to a tree removal cost guide. This is kind of nationwide, but it'll give you a general idea. I've also put a link to, we've got a video on how to save money on tree removal. some big ways to save money. One of them I've spoken about for smaller trees, but there's some really cool tricks that will save you a ton of money. So make sure you check that out. So large tree removal cost. This is anything from $1,000 to 2,500. Probably a similar height, 2-3 stories high, but you probably got a lot more volume of the tree. So something like this. This would probably cost you closer to $2,500. There is good access to the street, but you do have some obstacles in that you've got a sandstone wall that if it was damaged it'd cost a lot of money to replace, so they would have to dance around that. It'd be fairly tedious lowering those branches that have to be what's called tip tied, so the arborist has to get right out to them. You might have someone that has a crane or a cherry picker that can do it, but again, that's more equipment, it's going to cost more. So I'd say anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500 for this tree to be removed. This one's kind of on its way to being removed, so again, probably 2.5 grand. It's in a front yard. I can see right there that branches have been lowered directly in the back of the chipper, so it's pretty easy for them. Yeah, so that's what you're looking at. This one here would cost you probably quite a bit more money. This one I can see that is it's right on the fence line there. You've got the obstacle of the fence. You've got it right down the backyard. I can see those groundsmen are lining up those branches to drag them all the way up the front around the side of the house. It's a tricky tree in a tricky spot. It just takes more time, so it's going to cost more money. We can't really see the volume of the tree. I assume most of it's been taken down though. I can see some branches that have been removed, so at least 2,500, probably closer to 3. But they might have been able to save money. If you check the video on the footer about saving money on tree removal, they might have been able to use this house to the right. There might have been rear access. They might have been able to get the truck a lot closer. Would have saved the customer $500-600. So you need to explore all those options. But yeah, where they're dragging it, looks like they're dragging it behind up a side gate or something. So yeah, not good. Then you've got your extra large trees, so anywhere from $2,500 to $4,500. 30 meters or taller. So you're looking at a bloody big tree. Something like this. This is between two houses with a driveway. This job, but it's hard to tell from here. That's a big trunk. You're overhanging a house, so that's a pretty big obstacle. You've got a service line in the way here, and you've got power lines on the street as well, so very difficult to get a crane in. It's all done by hand. It's quite a bit of work. And this one, what a pain in the neck. You've got about a meter between the fence and the house. It's overhanging two houses with two big beautiful on the house on the left chimneys. That is an absolute pain in the ass. If you're taking out this tree in the foreground that you can see, this stringy bark, it might be a bit cheaper, but that one at the back, my God, what a job. You're probably looking at $5 grand plus for that. So just to give you an idea. So that's it from me. Feel free to check out gotreequotes.com.au. You can just type in tree removal GoTree Quotes into a search engine and it'll pop up. What we do is we match Adelaide customers with the best price local companies. We do have other videos on reviews of local companies we've had the pleasure of dealing with in the past. They're all really well priced. You've really got to be careful with who you go for. If you go for like a Google search, so let me just show you here quickly. Just say you were to type in tree removal Adelaide. Let's say Adelaide Hills. You're going to get a list of results. So if you go to anything like One Flare, Yellow Pages, any of these paid advertising, and pretty much most of the guys on the front page. Now, I don't want to generalize, but anyone that you find with any service, if you find them first, they're generally paid. They're generally paying a lot of money to be seen first. These are organic results, but they're not just there because, great luck. No, these guys are all paying companies thousands of dollars per month to land on the front page of Google to get you to click on them, which is fine, but those expenses do need to be passed on to the customer. Now, again, I'm not saying that all these companies are going to be more expensive than on page 2 and 3, but in general, page 2 and 3, they are going to be cheaper. And the same goes for Yellow Pages. You know, at the top there's, like, if we go to, say, here, if we go to Yellow Pages, at the top you're going to have promoted posts. Again, they pay a lot of money. So this guy up here, you know, Northern Tree Service, he's paying quite a bit of money. All these guys here, see, they're at the top, they've been promoted. Then you got the regular results underneath. So it's definitely worth keeping that in mind. What we do is we track. You know, we get hundreds of requests in Adelaide, and when we send contractors to these customers, we ask the customers who is best priced. And they tell us that information. They also tell us how the tree service was. We vet all tree services, so they're all qualified arborists. They're all insured. They've all got plenty of experience, so you can bet you're going to get a good job done. So it's a free service. It's not going to cost you anything. You just enter your postcode and you know, pick where you are. You fill out this very quick form. We just ask you about the tree. If it's removal, trimming, arborist report, stump removal, land clearing, how many trees, the size of the trees, bit of a description, and your contact information. We forward that on to the closest, best priced and top voted local contractors. They'll give you a call and you can book them in to have a look at your job. There's absolutely no obligation to hire. Like I said, it's a free service and they give free quotes, so definitely worth a shot. Alright guys, that's definitely it from me. If you do have any questions, please feel free to ask it in the question box below. I'll be keeping an eye on it and I'll be happy to answer. If not, best of luck with your tree removal job. This is Ben.